Hi, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at how you think they feel versus how they actually feel about you and the connection. So there are three groups to choose from. Group one is the Amazonite. Group two is the Strawberry Quartz. And group three is the Scolecite. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups, or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection, and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video if you would like to jump ahead, which I do recommend, so that you can skip over me shuffling the cards to clear the energy in between groups and tap into the energy of the group I am about to read for. Hi, Group 1. You chose the Amazonite. So I'm going to start with how you think they feel about you and the connection. So for Group 1, how do they think this person feels? Okay, so we have irresponsible. So you could think that this person feels that having connected with you, entering into a relationship with you in the past, or even kind of alluding to that flirtation with you might have been a mistake on their part. You could also feel that they see you as somebody who maybe is not ready for commitment, is not ready to settle down. This is an energy almost of immaturity. So this person might have even said some things to you in the past where they thought you had a lot of growing up to do, or that the two of you weren't really on the same page in terms of your desires, maybe in terms of love or marriage, starting a family together. And so two people who are just not really seeing eye to eye on these matters. And we also have cowardly. So you could really be viewing this person as somebody who is not really doing what it takes to step into that mature energy, to take responsibility for themselves, responsibility for their actions. Somebody who could be very intimidated by this connection and could be choosing to operate kind of in lower vibrational energies, or entertaining or wanting to entertain rather connections that are not demanding as much of them, are not really asking them or inviting them to step into that energy of really getting serious about their life moving forward. This could also be somebody who you might have dealt with that had some kind of fears of commitment, fears of intimacy, or even some fears relating to love and marriage, maybe through some kind of a family situation that they grew up in, kind of a broken home, or the child of divorce, for example, or a parent who might have abandoned the family. And so this really had impacted this person as far as kind of keeping committed relationships at a distance, or declarations or proclamations this person may have made in the past about not wanting to settle down, not believing in marriage, not believing in commitment, wanting to stay free and available and single and really autonomous to be able to determine the course of their own life without having to take others into consideration. So you could really be thinking that this is still kind of the mindset that this person has currently, and this definitely could have been a vibration that they were sort of operating from the last time you were dealing with them. And we also have power. So this could be somebody that kind of, again, relating to that sort of topic of autonomy, wanting to remain in their own autonomy, somebody who could not be looking at vulnerability of an emotional nature, opening up about their feelings. They could see that as something really disempowering, or somebody who had even expressed that they were kind of hesitant about getting into a committed relationship, either with you or just their feelings about commitment in general, because they weren't willing to forfeit their power. They weren't willing to forfeit their autonomy. They wanted to be the one to kind of make all the decisions in their life. They wanted to be the one holding all the cards, so to speak, to not really have to answer to anybody. This could also be somebody who is, the last time you were dealing with them, was just highly focused on kind of matters of the material world. Somebody who might have been very power hungry, who placed their kind of career and success in that capacity at sort of the forefront of their efforts at the expense of this connection. And so from the stance that you are at currently. Maybe it's been a while since you've had contact with this person, or there's not really been any indication that this has shifted and this has changed. And so from your kind of view, from the way that you are really filling into things, they could still be primarily focused on that kind of quest for power in the material world. This could also be indicating sort of a power struggle between the both of you. You could be very strong personalities, very kind of stubborn or even fixed energy. And so it led to kind of a lot of conflict between the both of you in terms of compromise. You could see this person as somebody not willing to compromise, somebody who, again, about any kind of views in terms of love and marriage and commitment, that this person is really holding strong to those things, kind of keeping that cup of love only for themselves, not being willing or able to kind of give that to another, somebody who could, be very fearful of that when you have extended that cup of love to them previously. And that just sort of brought up some triggers for them as far as loss, maybe fear of being controlled in a relationship, or in some way losing their individuality to kind of the identity of partnership that might develop. And we also have pestilence, corruption, and malice. Abaddon, overlord of the abyss. So this can relate to somebody that you might feel has a lot of resentment towards you, somebody who may have felt really oppressed by some of the demands or requests that you had made, some pressure they may have felt that you were putting on them unduly to sort of move to the next level in this situation, to kind of move beyond those fears of commitment that they may have had in the past. And so you could be viewing them again as somebody who's very resentful about that pressure that was put on them, where maybe they had expressed to you that they felt there was no other option other than to just disconnect from you completely, because you really weren't, due to this power struggle, you both weren't really able to find this place of compromise in the past. And we also have respite, assistance, memory, Vanth, caretaker of the lost. So this is somebody who, with that reference to memory, you could really be feeling that they are just focusing on kind of the difficult times between the both of you. Somebody who has kind of remained oblivious, or is not focusing on necessarily the good times that you shared or all the potential that exists in this relationship. But as you're feeling this energy, or just kind of assuming that this person feels currently, that it might be from a very negative capacity. With that reference to loss, this can also really tie into maybe feeling that this person had wasted their time on this connection, or you yourself may really be feeling as well that there were a lot of wasted years, just kind of putting your time on hold for this person, waiting for this person to change, giving this person a lot of windows of opportunity to kind of step beyond that comfort zone, kind of trying almost like efforts in vain to prove to this person that you're maybe different from their conceptualization of love and relationships based on what they'd been in, trying to almost prove through actions that it was safe to love you, that it was safe to become more vulnerable, enter into that state of, really stepping into the next level or layer in terms of the emotions between the both of you. Really some, trying to help this person to work through their issues by exercising patience in the past. But this feels like very much a mutual energy of the two of you, almost kind of really feeling that might have been efforts in vain, kind of lost efforts. The words even spoken might have fallen on deaf ears at the time. That, as much as you may have tried to really prove to this person that you were different from other experiences that they'd had, or that this connection didn't necessarily need to fit into that kind of prescribed expectation that they would have as far as what, intimacy and relationships would inevitably lead to. This kind of fear of losing that autonomy, losing themselves, having to relinquish all their power over to the control of another, not really having that bravery to open up their heart, to move past that comfort zone, move past those fears and that kind of wall that they had put up against intimacy in the past. So with memory, you could be really feeling that that's just what they're focusing on when they think about you in the present. And we also have wrath, instability, suspicion, Erishkigal, queen of shadows. So again, that ties in with that energy of malice, and you could really be feeling that, this person is not thinking very kindly of you. You could have definitely ended things on a very sour note with this person. Some kind of a fight, some kind of an explosion that happened between the both of you, to where, some hurtful things were said, perhaps in the heat of anger even. And so as far as the indications that this person is given to you at the present point, it doesn't really feel as though a lot has changed. You may feel even energetically that there's still a lot of anger emanating from them. And this can even be something that, it doesn't even necessarily need to relate to this situation, but it's almost like a nerve could have really been touched on in this circumstance, a trigger of some kind of deep core wounds within this person. And it just kind of opened those floodgates to a lot of anger, maybe toward others in their past, anger toward their parents, anger toward other romantic partners that they'd had in the past. Maybe this is somebody even with this kind of this couple here, this in the marriage garb on this irresponsible card. Somebody, they could be somebody who is divorced, maybe somebody who got married young, kind of impulsively to another person after not having known them that long, or even if they knew them a while and the relationship just didn't turn out as planned. And so it could have left this person with a lot of feeling of betrayal, needing to just kind of keep their heart very closed off, very sequestered from love, which then presented as an issue, obviously, to the two of you going forward in terms of this person not really able or willing to open up their heart. And so whatever kind of was sparked or triggered between the both of you, bringing up those wounds from the past, these kind of deficits, or even this person feeling like they themselves were a coward to not be able to kind of move past whatever occurred with somebody else previously that they'd been holding on to. And so this has brought up a lot of anger for this person, anger toward others that has been unresolved, anger toward themselves for maybe not having a lot of discernment previously, or even anger and frustration toward themselves for not being able to kind of move past something that has been templated within them in terms of their perception of intimacy and connections and commitment in general. So now I'm going to take a look at how are they actually feeling about you, because obviously this feels very, very negative and very heavy. It feels that you're feeling, or you're picking up energetically on this kind of vibration of anger emanating from this person, and that could be a natural assumption based on what happened in the past, that's all directed towards you in this connection. It does feel kind of a larger theme here that just sort of tapped into this larger vein of kind of frustration and anger within this person. But I'm going to take a look now at how they are actually feeling about you that might kind of contrast to your perception of how they are feeling, or how they may be still feeling if you ended things between the two of you on a very kind of angry or sour note in the past. Okay, so we have balance, support, sacrifice, letting go, Branwen. So this is definitely somebody with that letting go. I feel that they have evolved past whatever they were thinking about you previously, whatever anger they had held on to, or kind of that sour note that you both had ended things on, that in some way there's been an evolution beyond that. They've let go of a lot of that anger, a lot of that malice, that was triggered by whatever it was that you said, or maybe even just the vibration of intimacy, the potential of that existed between between the both of you. This feels like somebody with this reference to balance and kind of this white raven and the black raven there, who has really done some soul searching about what happened between you in the past, maybe realizing ways in which they may have overreacted in the past, or is someone who has recognized, based on what has been triggered, how they've been operating out of kind of that shadowy energy. Balance also really speaks to this desire to maybe deliver some kind of an apology to you, some kind of an explanation to you, that they may be in the process of kind of working up the courage to get to that point. And we also have sanctuary, creative force, Mother Earth, flow, the chalice well. So they are seeing you as a safe space. They may have really, again, operated from kind of this energy of being very triggered about some kind of residual wounds that they've been holding on to about love and connection, either from their childhood, growing up, what was demonstrated to them or kind of shown to them as sort of the extreme polarity of what loving relationships can kind of dissolve in, out of the loving space and into kind of this negativity or feelings of sort of abandonment and loss, and so they really, through time and through this ability to just kind of any sort of anger that was really triggered or kind of fired up within them, it feels that is definitely, there's been a cooling off period. Some perspective has really come to this person with this kind of reference to the well. They may have cried a lot, shed a lot of tears about this, a lot of tears of frustration, again, maybe for some kind of aspect of the wounded child within them that grew up in kind of a tumultuous home life, or still was holding on to some feelings of abandonment and mistrust as far as connections are concerned. And this feels like something that through that catharsis, through those tears that were shed, they've come to this place of clarity about you, where your love has provided a safe space for them. Almost energetically, you've really been holding that vibration, holding that space for them, even at a distance, for them to kind of work through these things. They may still have a lot more to work through, but it feels on some major level that there has been some evolution in that capacity. There has been some kind of shift within this person. Something has really come to light about this person, that they may have been kind of projecting blame unfairly in the past. And so this is somebody who's kind of moved more into that energy of taking responsibility, taking ownership for some aspects of themselves that may have been kind of carried along, even subconsciously or unconsciously, that have kind of been acting to their detriment, acting as kind of roadblocks to happiness and the potential that experiences like the connection with you had offered to them in the past. Somebody really operating from kind of a shut down heart space, and some kind of clarity has come to this person, maybe even just kind of the first layers of that awareness coming, where they have kind of been acting as their own worst enemy in a way up to this point. And we also have healing, initiation, divine inspiration, ancient knowledge, priestess of Avalon. So this, again, with that reference to healing, is really talking about something within this person, some kind of resentment or bitterness that they may have had. There's been a healing of sorts, this desire to maybe deliver some kind of an apology, some kind of an explanation, to move past the energy of where you last left things with each other. Somebody with this kind of this reference to divinity here, these kind of epiphanies or this awareness may have come to this person not through seeking, but almost through divine intervention. This is something where some kind of perspective has been offered to this person. Maybe this situation with you really triggered them on kind of that journey within, or really brought up some kind of deeply embedded feelings and core wounds within themselves, that as these things that maybe had just been kind of shut away and ignored, as they were kind of brought to the surface, these still festering wounds, maybe from childhood, that they've been holding on to for a long time, or some disappointment in romance previously that is then kind of negatively impacting their romantic connections moving forward. something about this, just kind of that awareness, feeling those sensations, and for some people taking the time then to deliberately try to unpack that, to try to seek out some healing. It's almost like when those wounds were addressed, there was no stuffing them back in the closet. It's almost like, it almost feels like an analogy sort of to toothpaste, that once you squeeze that out of the tube, there's no putting it back. And so whatever was triggered with this person, they had no choice almost but to address these things. This feels like somebody who might have been almost kind of appalled at the way that they maybe sort of overreacted, pushed you away in the past, where you were just offering sanctuary, you were offering love, you were offering intimacy and a safe space for this person to feel and to grow and to explore. And, you know, they really, instead of receiving that with gratitude, receiving that with grace and reciprocating that in kind, this person could have really just kind of unfairly pushed this away, hurt you, stemming almost from a place of that saying, hurt people. Not that it's an excuse, but definitely a lot of kind of unhealed wounds within this person, things that they may have just really kind of ignored, or not even realize that these were still issues, or that these things had affected them so deeply, and that it was having this lasting impact on them in the present, and kind of in their relationships moving forward. This can also really manifest as sort of issues that they have even with friends, kind of entering into too deep of friendships, that maybe, you know, when those times of vulnerability, or even people in their lives have really come to them, seeking them as a support system, and this person could just be so uncomfortable with vulnerability and with feelings, and, you know, just things that are deeper than that just kind of superficial jovial vibration of when you first get to know somebody, you know, that kind of honeymoon period, or just kind of casual relationships, casual connections. All of that in a platonic sense and a romantic sense could have made this person very uncomfortable. And so what happened with you could have just been almost like the first or one of many in a series of experiences where people in their lives were really kind of requesting them, or needing them to kind of open that heart space, to kind of step into that aspect of feelings, of intuition, to be almost like a shoulder for others to cry on, or a source of guidance and inspiration, a source of strength to others at maybe times of struggle or times of need. And this person just kind of recoiling from that, pushing that away, which could have led to kind of other relationships in their life falling away. People really seeing maybe that this person wasn't there for them through thick and thin, and then kind of gravitating away. And so kind of a lot of awareness could have come to this person from a lot of different angles, that there was something within them that was just really shunning intimacy, that wasn't able to be there for others, wasn't able to express and receive love in a healthy and reciprocal manner. And it seems like through that kind of wake-up call, that awareness, they are embarking on this healing journey. Maybe somebody who's also in this process of making amends with other people in their life for the ways in which they almost failed to kind of live up to that contract of reciprocity, that kind of unspoken agreement between people who are in, you know, relationships of friendship, or even romantic nature, of kind of having each other's backs. And so in that process of kind of that making of amends, there's a call, there's like this urge to kind of move towards you and deliver that same kind of apology or explanation, to somehow try to right or correct the situation between the both of you. And we also have Angel of Visions, Remiel. So again, this can be some kind of an epiphany, some kind of an awareness that has come to this person, some kind of realization where they may have really been in that energy of blaming others for kind of what was being triggered, blaming others for these unhealed wounds, kind of lashing out from that very triggered and kind of raw space within themselves. But they've had this kind of vision, I feel, almost of a very desolate future for themselves, a very lonely life, and it's sparked this change. It's sparked this impetus to kind of heal these things within themselves, so that they don't continue to push away people and connections that are in fact of value to them. And we also have Angel of Divination, Estibus. So this person could be asking for some guidance. Maybe some of them are even watching tarot readings online, or have sought out a reading from somebody who does tarot, somebody who even is knowledgeable about astrology, to kind of learn about some of the core components of their personality based on kind of their natal chart. This could be somebody who is also, in terms of really considering that energy of reconciliation, wanting to reach out, not really sure if the time is right. So they could really be, again, kind of seeking that confirmation or that guidance from sort of outside sources about what to do next, if there's even potential to come back from whatever damage was done in the past in this connection. So somebody who could be operating in that energy of fear, but there's definitely an interest here in really healing this and repairing this situation, but not necessarily sure how or when to do that. And we also have Angel of Heralds, Gabriel. So this is a card of communication, and again, can really allude to this energy of an apology that this person desires to deliver to you, some kind of an explanation as far as their actions in the past, maybe some things about their childhood or about their past that you're not aware of, or maybe you're just kind of vaguely aware of, but there's this desire this person has to really discuss these things with you, kind of offer you an explanation to their actions, not that it excuses that, but just to kind of provide you with that understanding, this sense of knowing, so that you don't feel that you were the problem, that this is in fact something within them, some kind of unhealed wound within them that really caused them to be very fearful of love and connection and commitment and intimacy, and also really speaking this truth about kind of the steps that have been taken, the realization that has happened about things they need to kind of heal and repair within themselves in order to achieve different results in their life in general and in this connection. So I'm going to get a little bit of tarot to clarify this for you, group one. Okay, so we've got Wheel of Fortune. So again, this is really speaking to this person's desire to kind of turn the page between the both of you, move out of any kind of stuck energy, any kind of lingering hurt that may be there about what occurred in the past, and step into a more positive vibration. This imagery here on this card of this figure kind of falling away, I feel this is really alluding to somebody who's, releasing ideas and mindsets, beliefs about love and connection that no longer serve. This is a version of this person themselves, this kind of unhealed version that is falling away. They're coming more into this state of balance within themselves, which can really help them then to move forward, to kind of find that courage, find the words to say, to offer some kind of an explanation or apology to you. And we've also got the Six of Swords. So that's mental energy right there. And this can really talk about belief systems that this person has had about love and connection and intimacy in the past that they have really, they are seeking to move through. They have moved through in a major way. And this speaks to this desire to, again, deliver some kind of truth to you, some kind of an apology or an explanation to hopefully kind of shift the energy between you to kind of a calmer space, move back into that sanctuary of connection with you, and kind of build toward a better future. And we've also got the Ten of Swords, so this end of a painful cycle. And I'm feeling also with that kind of mental energy, that air energy of the swords, this can really talk about a belief system or some kind of anger, some kind of resentment that they were carrying around that really just acted to their detriment. It was very self-defeating, this belief system. Kind of the card that follows the Ten of Swords in the minor arcana in tarot is the Ace of Swords, that energy of truth, of inspiration, of epiphany. And this is really speaking to kind of this process of letting go that this person is in, sort of on that brink of finding the words to say, finding that courage, the inspiration, maybe even through techniques of divination, or asking for signs, signals from their spirit team, their ancestors, their angels, as far as kind of what to say, how to say it, when the time is to move forward, and kind of what to do in this situation to sort of cut through that very thick and dense energy of things that might have been said, and very wounding and cutting words that might have been used in the past. We've also got the King of Cups, so this speaks to that emotional maturity that that person is stepping into, this desire to kind of move beyond the energy of the past, present you with some kind of a heart-to-heart conversation, a love offer, or even just sort of entering first into the energy of explanation, I feel, before just really rushing in with trying to pick up where you both left off. There could be a lot of damage that needs to be smoothed out, that needs to be healed between the both of you. Time that it may take in order to kind of build that energy of trust. So this feels like somebody who is stepping more into that energy of kind of clearing their heart space, clearing out any kind of residual wounds that they've been holding on to, so that they're at a place where they are no longer fearing love. They're no longer fearing kind of intimacy and emotional expression, but they're looking at that as a strength instead. And we also have Judgment, and this can be the energy of resurrection and renewal. So definitely this interest in this person to kind of renew the connection between you, to turn the page, to start fresh, to revisit this, to not just leave things as they last were between the both of you, but to, again, with this trumpet here, which ties into kind of that energy of Gabriel, the angel Gabriel, and this truth, this epiphany, which is coming to them from their higher self, these realizations that are coming to them, that's also then kind of crystallizing in the form of some kind of truth or apology they want to deliver to you. And we also have the Emperor. So this can talk about somebody who is learning to use power in a more appropriate way. Somebody who is understanding that there is power in emotional vulnerability. There's power in surrender. That it doesn't always need to be something that is, strongly held in a control stance. But this is definitely something where that to be soft is also to be powerful. Kind of this energy of give and take. Somebody who is really conquering pride and ego and fear, stepping into that bravery, that assertive energy, that action-oriented energy. Kind of in this planning stages right now, kind of clearing out some of that debris within themselves in order to step into that more empowered state where they're able to present you with a version of themselves, an openness about themselves that may have been kind of lacking or non-existent before, in order to hopefully do the work necessary to turn the page between you, to restart the connection, or to just really smooth out and kind of seek to heal or fix any kind of lingering hurt, doubt, or uncertainty between the both of you. So in terms of signs with the Wheel of Fortune, for me as a reader, that is mutable energy, Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius. The Swords is air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Cups is water energy, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Judgment is Scorpio, and the Emperor is Aries. So I'm going to get a few messages from this person's higher self for you, Group 1. What do they want to say? Okay, and they say, I am grateful for the spiritual lesson. So this person has definitely been triggered by the circumstances between you in a pretty major way. It almost feels like this may have been the first of many dominoes to fall in their life. Kind of that first inkling that really made them aware of sort of a larger issue or trend within them that was really not working in accordance with their highest good in terms of intimacy and relationships, and some pain and some core wounds that they had really been allowing to kind of distort their actions and conduct with people in their lives. And they also say, I replay our conversations over and over. So that ties in with that energy of memories. And I feel that this is somebody who's reflecting on both the good times and kind of the not so good times between the both of you, filled with a lot of regret and a lot of awareness of maybe the things that they said that were very unkind, were very harsh, or even very cruel, kind of picking these things apart. Somebody who's really evolving out of that energy of placing blame and is starting to kind of really redirect that focus inward. Somebody who's starting to take responsibility for their actions. And they also say just being near you is intoxicating. So this could, with this reference to intoxication, this could refer to somebody who kind of had some substance abuse issues, maybe some issues with alcohol that could have really been part of, and tying in with this sort of issues about anger. They could have had some kind of a subsequent kind of some issues with that as well, maybe some kind of legal trouble with that, DUIs, some things that occurred that really just operated as a wake-up call for this person to really assess themselves and their behavior. Somebody who, you know, is maybe presents as one way while they're drinking, while they're drunk, and then when they're sober, they're filled with all of this regret or almost a sense of not knowing, kind of like this energy of almost Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, you know, where it's two different people, kind of again, sort of that substance abuse. It doesn't need to be alcohol. It could be anything, really kind of bringing out the worst in this person. And you could have really seen that kind of worst face from them. This could have been something that really negatively impacted or was kind of a wedge between the both of you. Somebody who was running from a lot of pain within themselves and just seeking to kind of numb that with alcohol or even drugs, and kind of taking that to a very dark place, to the extreme. Taking that into the realm of addiction. And so this can really talk about this person getting some help about that, learning to kind of address those core wounds as opposed to just kind of mask or try to cover these things up with a substance for a temporary period of time, and then just kind of the downward spiral that can lead to, and it seems like has led to in this person's reality. And they also say, sometimes I stay awake thinking about you. So definitely that energy of memories again, and ties in with that replaying the conversations over and over. And this feels like somebody who, you know, would almost give anything for another chance with you, is really kind of seeking inside themselves to find the words to say, the courage to say maybe difficult conversations that need to be had, make their amends to you. You seem perhaps to be on some kind of list of people that they know they need to make things right with, that they treated cruelly or unfairly, or even that was kind of suffered in the fallout maybe of some kind of an addiction with this person or some kind of anger issues within this person, that they are in this process of healing, of addressing and kind of moving beyond. And they also say, I regret lying to you. So deceit could have been an issue between you in the past, maybe some kind of deception about substance abuse issues that they had. Or even just if this person had really kind of pushed you away, you know, denied having feelings for you, just been very kind of brusque in the way in which they ended things. This is really, you know, had just tried to kind of put the blame on you. This is really them from their higher self wanting to let you know that it wasn't you, it was them. They were operating from a very distorted perspective when you were last dealing with them. And they also say, I couldn't let you get close to me. So that ties in definitely with that kind of energy of somebody who is fearful of intimacy, fearful of connections, of love and romance. And it was just more within their comfort zone to kind of push that away. Things that were being triggered, these kind of fears, this residue from the past. And instead of leaning into that, this person's coping mechanism would have been to just kind of try to sabotage this, to push this away in order to kind of remain in that comfort zone of sort of ignoring these wounds, this baggage that they've been carrying around. So I'm going to get one of these affirmation cards and get a little more from this person, from their higher self, or just some kind of thoughts that might summarize this situation with them. Okay, and we have the road to union is an inside job. So that definitely ties in with that imagery here on this wheel of fortune, of kind of this masculine and feminine polarity, finding that balance within themselves, kind of working through a lot of those issues within themselves that could have really been a wedge between you in the past, or kind of brought out the worst in this person. This seems like somebody who is really learning to love themselves completely, to love kind of the more shadowy and distorted aspects of where they've been, as well as kind of those lighter and the potential of what they can become out of this. And so through this process of metamorphosis, they're definitely trying to think of ways, understanding that an apology may be owed, or just that, you know, what was said in the past, how you left things, this is not where they want the story to end between the both of you. So I'm going to get some guidance from Spirit for you now about this situation, Group 1. Okay, and we have sweet surrender. Let go, let go, let go, and lighten your load. Then sail freely through the open door to inner peace. So that is some beautiful guidance here that really summarizes this process of kind of moving beyond pain and disappointment and distortions that this person may have been operating in previously. This is also guidance for you as well to do what you can to kind of heal any sort of residual wounds, confusion or hurt or anger out of what has occurred with this person in the past, what they may have said or done, or even just the frustration about kind of dealing with somebody who was operating out of distortion and yet being able to see that potential, but somebody who, you know, wasn't at a place in their life previously of being able to really actualize that, to do anything about that, and just how frustrating that can be. You're really being guided to set yourself free in this case, not put your life on hold to wait for this person through their journey of becoming, their journey of kind of working through those difficulties to come to that place of courage and understanding to, you know, be able to deliver to you different results than you'd experienced with them previously. But by liberating yourself, kind of striving for that healthy and healed vibration within you, you can also energetically kind of present that as an option to this person, sort of like a vibrational bit of encouragement to them to continue on that process of kind of letting go of pain that they've been carrying around, hurt that they've been carrying around, distortions about love and intimacy and relationships that they've been carrying around. This is also guidance not to allow this situation to close you off to love, to close you off to the potential of reciprocity and beauty that can exist in loving connections, to recognize kind of, not to excuse their behavior, but just as a way of recognizing so that you can help to understand where this person was coming from, so that you don't allow yourself to put unnecessary blame on yourself for what you could have done better, for maybe the ways you could have been a little more patient or given this person a little space, anything this person may have projected upon you or really told to you or demonstrated to you, making you feel that you were in some way the problem for what occurred in this situation, or that you were asking too much, you were demanding too much, setting yourself free from any of that kind of wounding or that sort of those narratives within you, in order that you are able to remain open in your heart space to potentially this person coming back, with an offer of love, an offer of apology, if that's something that you're open to, but also to kind of free yourself from that energy so that you're open to receive love in the kind of variety of ways that the universe will deliver that to you in the kind of days, weeks, months, and years going forward. So I'm going to close this reading for you, group 1, with some initials. This can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. All right, so we have G, U, E, B, Z, V, K, L, T, and R. So those are your messages, group 1. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 2. You chose the strawberry quartz. So I'm going to start with how you think they feel about you. Okay, so we have pain. So this definitely is somebody who you could feel that they are looking at the situation with you kind of with a sense of distaste. They're not thinking very fondly of you. You could assume that whatever has happened between you, that it's still lingering with this person. It's something that they haven't really been able to move past. They haven't moved into that energy of forgiveness, or this is somebody who is still operating from kind of a wounded perspective, somebody who may have really presented some distortions from you or to you in the past, and they haven't really evolved beyond that. And we also have robotic. So somebody who is just kind of doing what they need to do to kind of carry on. This can also allude to kind of tying in with that pain, somebody who is holding a lot of regret about what happened between you in the past and is just kind of going through the motions, presenting almost a facade that they are unbothered, that they don't care, but there's a sense almost that you have that there's more than meets the eye with that. This energy of robotic can also kind of come across as somebody who is cold or uncaring or unfeeling. And so tying in with that pain, this almost speaks to a lack of that, a lack of concern over what has happened. You may really feel that they are quite unbothered about the whole circumstance, that they are really not caring if that you are not in their life anymore, that there's difficulties between the both of you. Somebody who is not in touch with their emotions, who is very focused on the material world, trying to distract themselves, or in some way is just not really equating the connection, kind of this very unique situation between the both of you, that they are not in that energy of cherishing that, missing that, or really longing for that. And we also have scorned, so this can tie in with pain to talk about somebody who's very angry, somebody who may be also with that robotic kind of giving you the silent treatment, somebody who has ghosted you or is coming across as very cold, maybe not responding to your messages, your phone calls, your text, if there's still some form of communication, if those lines of communication are still open between the both of you, or somebody also who may have blocked you, ghosted you, cut things off completely. And so as far as you're aware, they're still kind of operating in that energy of kind of anger and pain, being very unmovable in terms of seeing a different perspective and kind of evolving beyond that. Somebody who's really still holding on to some experience in the past, or still kind of operating in that energy of bitterness that they may have been in when things were cut off between the both of you, or some kind of a fight that occurred as well. Maybe even something where they themselves might feel scorned because perhaps even you had kind of put the brakes on in the situation. Maybe things were moving a little too fast, or there were things that you didn't really like about the situation, about this person's conduct, or kind of some discussions that you may have tried to have about them to kind of work through their feelings, to discuss some pain or some difficulties that you may have had, and that could have really triggered this person, really made them feel rejected, made them feel like they were pushed out in the cold. And it's something to where it's almost a misunderstanding even between the both of you, that this person is still really holding on to that hurt, that where you may have asked for space, maybe needed some time, some other things, some other pain you were going through in your life, and this person took that very personally. This person did not really give you the opportunity to explain yourself, or to didn't really provide themselves as a shoulder to cry on, or a support system, or really honoring that need for space, but could have really taken it almost in this immature energy, really just focusing on self, focusing on their own feelings, kind of ignoring yours, or ignoring maybe some of the underlying motivations there. And we also have understanding, community, ingenuity, the maestro, master of inspiration. So with that reference to community, this can be somebody that, maybe their family or their friends didn't really approve of this connection in the past. And so with that energy of robotic, this person could have really kind of pushed you away, kind of scorned you, kind of rebuffed your advances because you didn't fit in with sort of the type or the mold or the paradigm of what others expected for them. And so you are maybe anticipating that they are still feeling that way. They're still really giving into that pressure from those around them. They're still really trying to fit into that caricature, or they have come to really convince themselves of that, contrary to any kind of chemistry or attraction or kind of what was alluded to, or almost this energy of sort of a false start, or just kind of the very beginnings of the connection between the both of you, this spark, that this person is not focusing on that, but they are instead looking to the outside world, looking to the material world, to the opinions of others, and still really holding that in a very high regard. With that energy of ingenuity, this can also talk about somebody who's kind of crafty or deceptive. So somebody who, again, with that energy of kind of ghosting, maybe running from this connection, was kind of sneaky or tricky about that when they did that. They didn't really give you the opportunity to have a conversation with them. They left you with a lot of questions, not a lot of answers. And so you could really feel that this is still kind of their MO. This is still really how they're operating, the kind of the mindset of the vibration that they are operating at. And we also have hunger, animalism, instinct, Lilith, thief of life. So this is really kind of reminding me of this temptress energy, this sort of forbidden fruit, which ties in with that reference to community. So somebody who could have really looked at you as somebody that they didn't necessarily feel would have a lot of good long-term potential for them. Somebody where the connection could have just been kind of very carnal, this very kind of lustful energy. But they could have really, pushed you away again because you didn't fit into that mold of what their family wanted, what their community wanted. Maybe there was some kind of a cultural or a religious difference, an age difference, some kind of circumstances that didn't really add up to what others had depicted for them was sort of the ideal partner. And so you may still be thinking that they are viewing you in that kind of this seductress or seductor energy, somebody who maybe to give into this connection would just take them off course or would somehow damage or act to the detriment of kind of their public standing or the opinions of others. This energy of Lilith is also a fiercely independent energy, which could have really kind of challenged this person as well, sort of that, your independence, how headstrong you were, the ways in which you pursued your goals, to where that could have made them feel almost like they pushed you away before you could outgrow them, before you could outgrow the connection. A lot of fear that might have been operating there, feelings that they weren't good enough for you. They, maybe accused you of being too competitive, too driven, tried to almost chastise you for your enthusiasm for your goals or your passions about things that you were working toward, because kind of underneath that underlying energy is feeling almost threatened by that, feeling almost in competition with you as well, feeling that compromise might be an issue, not really sure if you would be if these goals or dreams are something that you would be chasing at any expense, and then if that expense might come, that they might be that expense. Almost somebody who kind of questioned or wondered if their emotional needs could be met in the long term. Maybe you are in a very competitive career, or you hold a very high position in some way, or you just have this very kind of lofty and large dream that you're working toward. This person almost feels eclipsed by your energy, or the potential of your success, whether you've achieved that or you're working toward it. The idea of that could have really triggered some feelings of inadequacy within this person, feeling that when you reach that pinnacle of success, or at some point in the course of that you would kind of see them as not this adequate match for you. that somebody who was better suited would come along, that they didn't really have what it took to compete with others, maybe for your continued love and affection. And so instead of really admitting that kind of wound within themselves, they sort of projected that onto you, maybe accused you of being too aggressive in things, too direct, too forward, and really did not look at these aspects of yourself, this hunger, this desire to succeed, and to really, better yourself and kind of reach for and experience glory in your life, trying to kind of shame you for that, instead of really looking that as a strength that could be kind of harnessed and built upon alongside of the the attributes that they would bring to the situation. And we also have secrets, vigilance, subterfuge, nyx, enchantress of the night. So again, with that kind of energy of enchantress, they could have seen you as just a temptation, maybe even that competitive energy, that very driven energy. This could really apply to some kind of a goal that they were working toward themselves, and they may have seen this connection just as kind of a distraction from that, kind of pulling them off course. Somebody who has really just focused on the material world up to this point and kind of put love on the back burner. And so this draw, this attraction to you, they could have really been very enticed by that, but at the same time felt very much that to open themselves up even emotionally would kind of put them at risk for loss. To allow you into their heart would be to allow you into this kind of secret domain which they must protect, because to show any weakness or to allow you into that space of vulnerability could put them at risk of really being compromised in terms of whatever they're working toward, or could put them at risk of kind of loss and hurt by you. It's almost somebody who kind of felt that they couldn't give you that kind of power to have that kind of control or influence over them. Somebody who really held your opinion in high value. Somebody who really saw you as somebody with the power, almost with a look to completely shatter this person. And that might have been very enticing, kind of that intensity, but at the same time very brought up a lot of fears and insecurities within this person. So you may feel that they are still, and to some degree they largely may still be operating through that. This can be some kind of fears and shadows that they are trying to work through within themselves at kind of this almost this stalemate energy, or this period of silence and quiet between the both of you. So now I'm going to take a look at how are they actually feeling about you in the connection group too. This can kind of tie in with this. This can be completely different. You might be pleasantly surprised at what they are actually feeling versus what is kind of being projected or to you, or what you may be assuming if there's no contact. Okay, so we have boundary, transformation, illusion, enchantment, mists of Avalon. So that energy of enchantment then is coming, which we saw here in this Nyx card. This is coming up again for a second time. So this person could still again be kind of operating through some fears with kind of that imagery of this mist here. There's some kind of clarity that they are having, that they may have been looking at things from a distorted or unfair perspective, but they're still in a large way kind of operating in that distortion, not seeing things clearly, not being able to kind of see beyond self-deception even, or the ways in which they may have kind of unfairly projected upon you, or kind of misconstrued maybe some words that you had said, or kind of just this drive within you. But with this reference also to transformation, it does feel, and kind of this imagery of coming out of that mist, this is somebody who is starting to make their way through that. These ideas are starting to transform. This is somebody who's also starting to, if kind of community or family or the opinions of others had really kind of clouded this person's judgment, or caused them to kind of close off to this connection in the past, this person's getting some clarity about that. How They may have been very fearful of kind of losing control to this connection, and they're starting to realize how they in fact have relinquished control to others to determine their participation or not in this connection and in other ways in their life. Also with this image here of this boat and this lantern, this is, this wisdom that is kind of this higher self, this inner knowing that is kind of guiding them through that fog and that shadow of kind of misconception and untruth, illusion. And it's really kind of bringing them to that space of clarity for seeing others in their life for who they are, for seeing themselves for kind of the truth of the vibration, almost this energy of fear, and kind of catering to others' expectations that they may have really been operating from. And we also have Pathfinder, Power, Strength, Integration, the Dragon. So again, they're viewing you as a very powerful person, a very powerful manifester. They are seeing that you have created a lot of abundance for yourself. This is somebody also with these two dragons here that is starting to really, with that energy of transformation, they're starting to recognize kind of this very determined quality about you, this very passionate quality about you, as very equally matched in certain ways to these aspects within themselves, that where they may have really thought themselves inadequate, they're starting to kind of recognize that almost the way in which they put you on a pedestal or projected these things upon you, that this is in fact a mirror for the same potential which exists within them. This is somebody who is becoming empowered slowly but surely to kind of find a way through all of this, kind of moving beyond the illusions that they may have had about love and romance, about timelines, of how things should unfold in their life, about you and how they kind of perceived you and your energy and what you've been focusing on, what you've been working toward. They're seeing that from a new light. They may have looked at you as well with this imagery of kind of the dragon as kind of a very fearful character in their life, as somebody who again had kind of that power with a look to shatter them. But they, and that kind of made them almost want to sort of pull away, to not give you that kind of power, to close themselves off and retreat from that. But they're actually seeing you almost like the wings of the dragon from this higher perspective, that with that power is almost this gentleness. It's not indiscriminate power. It's the ability to almost with that power to protect what's important to you, to protect what is valuable to you. They're starting to recognize you as somebody who really, was very cherishing and very nurturing of the connection. Somebody who, was also in ways fiercely protective of this person. Any kind of ways in which you may have pushed this person to work toward their goals and they could have really resented that in the past. They're starting to see that as something where you really had their best interest in mind. Advocating for themselves, to kind of step beyond boundaries. You may be even called into question some of the opinions of people in their life, or really kind of encourage them to take a look at the ways that they may have been relinquishing control to belief systems, mindsets, family, to friends. And this person could have gone on the defensive about that, felt very seen and very exposed and kind of very triggered by that. But they're starting to really gain some kind of other perspective that you were really right about a lot of these things, that the words you said or the assessment that you had about certain characters in their life or mindsets, and kind of how that was really limiting their capacity for experiencing joy. They're starting to kind of move beyond that, take that higher perspective, see things from your perspective, and find wisdom where at one point in time they may have really kind of pushed that away out of an interest of kind of clinging to what was known and familiar. And we also have protection, gratitude, energy, healing, the white spring. So again, kind of this desire, this healing within this person that is occurring, and this desire to, the more clarity that they are getting, it's almost this gentle energy of kind of these emotions towards you that they may have really held back on, that are starting to flow. The emotional body is starting to clear up within this person, this heart space, almost in a gentle way. It feels very very subtle at this point in time. It's something where they're starting to have a lot of gratitude for you, a lot of gratitude for having met you, feeling that as challenging as this connection may have been, the situation may have been, that it's something, this challenge has almost led to kind of that upset in their status quo. It has caused them to kind of take a larger look around at how they've been operating or what they've been allowing to influence them in the past. There's a sense also with that reference to protection that was coming up here with the dragon card. They're recognizing how, you really had been operating with the best interests of this connection in mind. This person could have been kind of skeptical or even a little bit paranoid about kind of opening up to love or to somebody that might have been so outside of kind of the realm of what was usual and normal or expected for them. That they may have seen that kind of as a very threatening energy. But now they're starting to really reframe that thought and start to really cherish the memories of you, see you as somebody who really would have almost protected their heart, taken those feelings into consideration in a way that others in their life may not have. And we also have left leg, submission, Hod. So this is really somebody who, again, is kind of in that process of surrendering the illusions that they may have held about the connection and about you in the past. Somebody with all this blue here and this green who is really, that heart space is opening up, this truth and clarity. Their heart, they're allowing that to speak to them. They are listening to them. And with this yellow here, that solar plexus energy, they're allowing that truth of their heart space to empower them, empower their actions forward, show the clear path forward, present illumination to them about a different way of being, a different way of looking at the world in this connection. And we also have Angel of Divination, Estibus. So with this imagery here of this figure kind of hovering above the earth, this is again that higher perspective, kind of moving beyond the 3D limitations or the limitations of others in their life that have been placed upon them in general, or opinions of others. They may have really interfered with this connection, or even a perception of what others might have thought or would think. This person is really rising above that. This person could also really be seeking more of that internal guidance, signs from above, from their spirit team, from their angels, from their passed on loved ones, kind of distancing themselves a bit from kind of that input of the opinions of those in the physical world, learning to trust themselves more, learning to trust kind of that intangible guidance more, listening to that, allowing that to factor into their decisions, or giving that a larger sway over those decisions than they may have in the past. And we also have heart, beauty, Tiferet. So this is, again, they're seeing you in a very loving energy where they may have been very fearful. That heart space is opening up. This is really this energy of a heart chakra activation. This person learning to answer that call of their heart, recognize that truth of their heart, that the ways in which, this connection might have challenged them in the past, or, brought up these feelings of insecurity and inadequacy within them, feelings of being judged or persecuted even. They're really recognizing how all of this was really a call to action, for them to kind of step beyond illusions, beyond facades, beyond their limitations that were kind of imposed upon them by the outside world, or kind of self-imposed limitations, to step into that highest version of self, to answer the call of their heart, listen to that truth from within, versus kind of the outside circumstances, the opinions of others. So this person is really starting to kind of see through the illusion, see through the fog, feel more into that heart space, that truth within them that they may have really denied feelings for you, pushed feelings away, been operating in kind of this very closed off energy. But the truth of the matter is that, beyond all of that and through all of that, there's a lot of deep love that they have for you that continues to resonate and kind of vibrate within them to this day. They're starting to recognize that where they may have just kind of sort of dismissed this or written this connection off as just sort of temptation or lust-based, or didn't really have the makings of anything that could be lasting. They're starting to recognize the value of love, and to differentiate love and lust, and to see that kind of this energetic connection between the both of you is in fact a recipe to infuse and fuel sort of the building of the connection, the building of experiences, memories, and kind of laying that foundation together in other ways in the material world. world that might be an ingredient that was even lacking from other connections, or even other partners or types of partners that this person's community or family even, or even just self-imposed limitations had really presented as kind of the right person for them, so to speak, that they're recognizing that key component, that core aspect of love was really missing from these situations. And so this is somebody who's starting to shift that perspective, starting to value that love, that feeling of connection a lot more than they had in the past. So I'm going to get a little bit of tarot to clarify this for you, group 2. Okay, so we have the Ten of Pentacles. So again, this person really starting to recognize you as wish fulfillment, almost a feeling of foolishness at having walked away from or pushed away somebody that really had the makings of a very strong relationship. They're starting to really recognize and value and admire your passion and your drive, and seeing you as somebody that they could build a very successful partnership with, something that is very sustaining and supportive in a material sense and also emotionally. And we also have the Tower. So this can really talk about kind of that shaking off of the illusions, these realizations, some kind of divine intervention or epiphany that has come to this person in the ways in which they may have feared kind of relinquishing their power to love and romance, only to discover that they in fact had given that power away to belief systems or other people in their lives. So this is some kind of a shakeup that is happening within this person, some kind of a change, some kind of an awareness that is happening for them. Where it's almost like they're doing a 180-degree change in terms of their views and opinions about you and this connection. And we've also got the Four of Swords. So through any kind of quiet or kind of blocked off energy where it might seem like not a lot's happening, they're kind of in that robotic energy, still holding on to the pain and kind of the anger and sort of this refusal, just allowing that burned bridge to remain smoldering. Despite any of that, there's a lot happening beneath the surface within this person's mental space, within their thoughts. Those thoughts are changing, these ideas, this awareness, this clarity is coming. And so it might be kind of a quiet period, but this almost feels like kind of that rest, that liminal state before the next kind of period of action or that next kind of step is taken. And we also have death, so that's the energy of endings as well as renewals, and can really also with that Tower speak to any kind of an illusion or a preconception that this person had about this connection is really giving way to kind of seeing things with fresh eyes. It's really starting to open the door to a possibility of renewal or rebirth between you. And we also have the Empress. So this can really talk about that kind of that perception that this person had. They're starting to now recognize you as somebody who's very nurturing, someone whom their heart is very safe with. They're seeing you as somebody very abundant. There's this desire to give into this connection in a way that they may not have been able or ready to in the past. And we also have Strength. So this can really talk about that courage to maybe have those difficult conversations with others in their life, really stand up for themselves, advocate for what resonates with them versus what others want for them. This is also a card of balance, bringing into kind of this harmony, sort of these fears that this person had been operating with this kind of this higher understanding here, creating some kind of a fusion of those two things in order to create a path forward in this situation in the future. So in terms of signs with the Pentacles, we have Earth energy, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. The Tower is Aries. Swords energy is Air, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Death is Scorpio. The Empress is Taurus and Libra. And Strength is Leo. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self for you now, group 2. What do they want to say? Okay, and they say it was my fault, but I blamed you. So that's that energy of somebody who may have kind of accused you of being too aggressive, too demanding, not being on the same page, not having, everything they were looking for, what it takes to, be somebody who they could build a solid commitment with. And all of that was really this projection out of this fear-based kind of energy of inadequacy within this person that they're starting to recognize and take accountability for. And they also say, I knew exactly what I was doing. So there could have been a lot of pressure on this person from people in their life to kind of end things with you, disconnect from the situation, push this connection away. So this, this person is really admitting from their higher self that there might have been other people in their ear or influencing them, influencing the actions to cut things off with you, to almost create some kind of chaos, create some kind of fight, orchestrate some kind of a disagreement that would then give them the opportunity to kind of cut away from the connection, break away from the connection. And it feels that it was definitely influenced, at least by other people, but even just kind of this idea within this person as far as what they had come to believe was kind of the right type of partner for them, or how partnerships and connections should look. And sort of the feelings that they had for you, this attraction they had for you, caught them very much off guard. They almost allowed themselves to kind of feel a little too far into that for their own comfort, and sort of when it reached that kind of danger zone of stepping to the next level, or seeking to really kind of upend other plans they had for themselves or other belief systems, they put on the brakes in this situation very abruptly and almost in a calculated manner. And they also say, I'm grateful for the spiritual lesson. So with this process of kind of coming to this illumination, with that kind of the glory and the joy of seeing the truth is also the pain that comes with that, for the ways in which one has operated out of a stance of distortion and illusion. So this is something where this person is going through this process of learning a lot of lessons, a lot of things falling away, seeing a lot of people in their life for who they are, which could be very difficult for them. And so kind of a lot of pain and turmoil and chaos that they're going through with that tower energy. But on the other side of that is almost like gratitude for knowing the truth as well. And they also say, I want to feel that way again. So this can really speak about kind of that energy of the 180-degree turn, wanting to come back to that sanctuary, kind of the good times, the initial times that you shared before they allowed others to complicate things, or they allowed their fears or their own insecurities to complicate matters between the both of you. And they also say, I know I was a distraction from your pain. So this person this can be them saying that this connection really distracted them from some wounds within themselves. And they may have entered into this just wanting it to be a very casual connection, not wanting a lot of strings attached at first. And when they started to really develop feelings for you, that could have caused them to have to really put on the brakes to abruptly kind of end things with you, because it was getting too far out of their comfort zone, or was kind of entering a realm that they hadn't originally anticipated or planned on in this connection. And so, that's admitting also a lot of this kind of that issue of the pain and inadequacy within themselves that they're needing to work on, and they're getting some clarity about. And they also say, I'm so attracted to you. So this is somebody like with that energy of kind of this heart chakra activation and that blue, that throat chakra, that truth, someone who is starting to really admit the depth and breadth of the feelings they have for you, that they may have denied or suppressed or kind of acted in contradiction to previously. So I'm going to get one of these affirmation cards, and this can have a little more information about this situation, a little more clarity, perhaps a message. And it says love prevails. So again, that's that heart chakra energy, and really speaking to this person opening up, kind of seeing through that fog of illusion, of pain, of distortion, feeling into that heart space, feeling into the truth, love really carrying them beyond the ways in which they may have contorted themselves in their life to fit a certain image, or to make others proud of them, or to just kind of live up to some kind of a legacy or an expectation, maybe living in the shadow of a parent, or some kind of just a perception for how they feel that they need to or are expected to portray themselves in this life. And this is something where that's kind of it's an unsustainable facade. Something has really kind of spark this person to move beyond that, to move their way through that, to recognize how they, have been playing small with their life, how they've been really kind of denying themselves true pleasure in the interest of kind of what others would deem appropriate for them, or the way things should look. And so a lot of encouragement there, that this process of kind of breaking beyond those barriers, it's happening from within. This person is really changing from the inside out, that heart space opening up, to really be able to view from that heart space and to discern those that have their best interest in mind, versus those that may be kind of pushing them or directing them or encouraging them in ways that are more self-serving and not for this person's highest good. So I'm going to get a message, some guidance from Spirit for you now, group 2, about the situation. And we have float in stillness. Meditation is the key to filling up with joyous nectar of life. So you're really encouraged to kind of move into this space of quiet within you to seek answers, maybe even connect with this person at a higher self level through meditation, trusting if they're coming to you in dreams or you're feeling their energy around you. That could be quite contradictory to what you're seeing sort of displayed in the material world, that this can talk about there's a lot happening beneath the surface that might not be at the place yet of really manifesting into concrete actions of change that you are able to see. But you're really encouraged to kind of just remain in that energy of patience at this time, that as this person is sort of cracked open from the inside out, the energetic flux that you might be feeling will start to then sort of reflect itself in potentially different actions, maybe communication from this person, or just a softening of that stance. Somebody who may really be kind of reconsidering a decision that had been made in the past to move away. Somebody who's healing those inner wounds within themselves, also really encouraging you to kind of go within to listen to that higher guidance within you about ways in which, in your own life and in your own kind of experience, that you may have really kind of dismissed the call of your heart in the interest of kind of fitting into an image or a portrayal of what others would want for you, and kind of in that stillness within to find that authenticity, find ways of kind of bringing that to the surface, bringing that authenticity out into your day-to-day life, in small ways or in big ways. And, by doing that, that can also set this energetic template for this person to continue on that process within themselves of finding that truth, finding that authenticity, and standing very bravely in that energy. So I'm going to get some initials for you now, group 2. This can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. All right, so we have U, D, V, N, O, E, T, F, J, and G. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 3. You chose the Scolecite. So I'm going to start with how you think they feel about you. Okay, so we have one-sided. So you could definitely sense this, or in the past, this person had expressed that this is unrequited love, that they didn't have feelings for you, they weren't interested in a relationship, in a connection, they didn't feel anything or no longer felt anything, they'd fallen out of love with you. And so this could be something where, you know, you're just kind of left holding all these feelings all by yourself, kind of walking around with the ghosts of the past, of the good times with this person, the potential that could have existed between you, or even some kind of a false start, maybe a sense also of feeling kind of misled by this person, where they may have extended some flirtations towards you, alluded to having feelings, or even declared that they had feelings only to kind of abruptly pull themselves away. So this is definitely the energy of feeling that you're the only one investing in this connection. You're the only one interested in kind of renewing the connection, or the only one who is really seeking to heal things, or doing even that healing work on your end, to kind of move beyond what has happened, or to help to kind of elevate the connection beyond the energy you were last in or currently still in with this person. And we also have emptiness. So again, that ties in with that one-sided energy, feeling that this person energetically is almost a void at this point in time, not sensing a lot of warmth, maybe communication being very one-sided, this person not responding to texts or emails or messages online that you've been sending, somebody that you've been waiting for them to reach out, to come back around, to apologize, and there's just been nothing. It's kind of, again, that feeling almost sitting with the ghosts of the past, the memories of this person, not having a whole lot to build upon. With this emptiness also, feeling that they don't feel anything for you, that they don't miss you, they don't miss the good times, they don't want another opportunity with you. Really questioning as well kind of the feelings that you had, wondering, is this connection all in your mind? Starting to question your intuition as well, or really question where to go from here, kind of how to manage these feelings, how to deal with these feelings, and questioning almost the purpose of that, the purpose of feeling so intensely for somebody who is unwilling or unable to reciprocate. And we also have power. So this can really speak to somebody who is holding all the cards in the situation, that almost the ball is in their court to reach out, and they're kind of withholding that. They're withholding information. Knowledge is power. They're keeping the truth of their feelings, what's in their heart space, if anything at all. This is somebody who's keeping that very secret, keeping that very close to the chest, not extending that, not expressing any of that. Somebody who, is almost unfairly using that power against you. Somebody who may be reading your messages, or you are assuming that they are getting these messages, they're reading them, and they're choosing not to respond. They're operating from a very distorted energy of power, of kind of keeping you dangling on a string, or not really giving very much. If you do have some communication with this person, it could be very limited or very strained, kind of responding with sort of one-word answers, not really getting into the depth of things, being unwilling to discuss some issues that you had faced, or even things that were said that kind of, led to some pain or confusion, or, on your part, as far as where the connection is headed and what, if anything, they want in the future with you. And we also have hope, incompleteness, yearning, eternal servitor, the ancient wanderer. So again, this is this sense of kind of wandering around with sort of the ghosts of the past, feeling that you are the only one who is interested and invested in this connection. feeling that this person is, that their desires are elsewhere, that there's a lack of yearning, there's a lack of interest in renewing things or moving things in a different direction with you. Almost feeling as well that you're kind of, with that reference to servitor, that you are very kind of your almost a sense of completion or wholeness in the aspect of you're left with a lot of unanswered questions. You're kind of you're at this person's mercy to provide those answers for you. There could be a lot of confusion. You may have moved forward or are trying to move forward in other ways in your life, but there's still this big kind of unfinished sentence, this unfinished symphony. A lot of explanations that are necessary that this person is unwilling to provide to you, or has been up to this point in time. And so almost feeling that part of your healing journey is really dependent on this person providing something to you, some kind of an explanation, some kind of a reason, some kind of acknowledgement even that they're hearing you, they're getting these messages, they're getting they're seeing your desire to kind of reach out and communicate, providing some explanation why they've been silent, why they're withholding, why they're holding back. There's a feeling as well that, this person, you may feel that this person sees the situation between you as very hopeless, that there's not a lot of hope to creating anything beyond this, that they're very content with where things are. That this situation, you may feel that it doesn't lead to a sense of completeness within them, that to remain in silence or separation is actually more within that comfort zone. It's more within their liking, which is then calling you or causing you to call into question your own feelings and your own sense of, why did you even need to meet this person? Why was this kind of spark there in the first place? What's the purpose of all of this? And we also have sorrow, lost valor, serendipity, the prince, the forgotten adversary. So that energy of forgotten, you may really feel that, you're out of sight. You are now out of this person's mind. With that reference to serendipity, again, calling into question these signs you are getting, these reminders of this person, these synchronicities. A lot of frustration you may be feeling, kind of even frustrated with spirit for, really bringing this person into your life, sparking this connection, sparking this love within you, awakening this love. You may also be kind of having some resentment toward this person for, again, sparking that love within you. Things they may have said, advances they may have made in the past, flirtations that really brought something to life within you, only to have this person withdraw or kind of, pull their energy away, and kind of feeling at a loss for why did they do that. Seeing it almost in an adversarial capacity, almost feeling that this person may have, just kind of looked at you as sort of foolish or was in this energy of kind of trickery with you, feeling that they may have kind of taken advantage of your heart, taken advantage of kind of that vulnerability you express to them, kind of taking a lot and giving very little in return as well. A lot of sorrow that is tied in with that, the experiences of the past, and just almost feeling with this in reference to lost valor that this person no longer has interest in investing in this situation, has no, is not going to come forward and do the right thing, has no interest in doing that, in providing an answer, providing explanation or clarity, or really picking back up with where you left off. And we also have authority, the hunt, natural balance, Arwen, master of the great hunt. So again, this is kind of this energy of guile and trickery, that you may really feel that this person kind of took advantage of your heart in the past, feeling that you've left a lot of clues, a lot of a trail for this person to follow in order to find you. You've left the door open, and there's a sense of them pursuing other things, that they find most fulfillment in other things. They're not picking up on the clues that you have left them, or they're choosing to ignore these things, communication that you may have made to them, and they're choosing to remain silent. So it's almost a feeling at a loss, not really sure what it is that they want out of this, what kind of that motivation or that end game or that impetus was for kind of sparking your heart in the first place. Not really sure in the larger sense why the two of you needed to meet, why these circumstances had to play out. Almost feeling as well with the hunt and serendipity that, you know, you're getting a lot of these signs and these synchronicities, these reminders, angel numbers, you know, seeing this person's name a lot, dreaming about them, feeling them energetically, and almost feeling like it's a wild goose chase at this point, that there's not a lot, you're not really sure what is to be kind of achieved from all of this on your end, on this person's end, sort of what the grand cosmic plan is for all of this. So really feeling this person and kind of coldness from their side, or feeling the loss of them acutely, but also feeling that, you know, there's not a lot that they want to invest in this, feeling that they don't have feelings, that those feelings have kind of died off, or even questioning if they ever had them for you to begin with. So now I'm going to take a look at how are they actually feeling for group 3, and see if this is in any way in alignment with how you think they're feeling. You know, are you going to be pleasantly surprised perhaps that they're feeling some way quite different, or stepping into that kind of that different energy than what they may have been operating in previously. Okay, so we have divine inspiration, initiation, healing, ancient knowledge, priestess of Avalon. So this is really this can really allude to somebody who's in this process of kind of going through a spiritual awakening, some kind of dark night of the soul. I feel that this is really confirming that sort of the intensity of the connection that you've experienced with this person in the past. They have also experienced these things. They are also seeing the signs, the synchronicities. They are in a process of awakening. Where they may have really tried to kind of shut that off or push this connection away in the past, really denied these things, kind of operating in that energy of denial, that all of this, it feels, was really kind of a ruse or a mask, that although they may not have been willing to admit these things for you, this is very tangible and real for them too. Just as you are maybe going through this kind of darkness, this dark night of the soul, this questioning of yourself, of spirit, of this connection, this person is also going through this process. This is very mirrored energy. This person is also feeling very desolate within them, a lot of questioning going on. And all of this is really kind of tying in also for sort of a larger explanation of things, that this connection and what you've been through with each other, it's for the purpose of awakening you both into a better version of self, of kind of up-leveling your energy, kind of moving to the next level in your life, and a wider perspective of yourselves, of connection, of your purpose in this life, kind of the existence of life in general, and the connectedness of all things and all people, and all consciousnesses, despite any kind of time, space, or distance, kind of that eternal union of the soul between the both of you, despite what is happening in the 3D. And we also have power, justice, authority, leadership, King Arthur. So this is really talking about this person, again, ascending into that divine masculine energy, whether this is a female or a male. This is, you know, doesn't have to do with gender. It's more of an energy of kind of assertiveness, of action, of creating the change that one wants to see. And this can also speak to somebody who desires change in these circumstances, that it may seem very quiet, they may seem very withdrawn, like they're ignoring you. But beneath the surface, with what is really changing and shifting within them, a lot of signs that they're getting, maybe dreams that they are having about you, these epiphanies, this awareness that is coming, this illumination. It is creating this desire for change within them, starting to really, anything that they may have projected upon you, any kind of distortions, they are really seeing the reflection of that within themselves. Anything about this connection they may have been really intimidated by, they are recognizing that this is just an untapped source of strength within themselves that they were running from. So somebody who's in that process of kind of moving more into that authenticity, somebody who's moving more into that energy of action, somebody who, unbeknownst to you, may also have this desire to take charge in this situation, speak some kind of truth, offer some kind of answers or some kind of clarity or some kind of a reassurance even, that they may recognize you as a soulmate, as a divine counterpart, that they are seeing the signs, they are seeing the synchronicities, that even feelings and energy between you they may have denied in the past, or then they kind of shift into that energy of acknowledgement and acceptance. And we also have courage, purity, triumph, surrender, Galahad. So again, this person really surrendering to the signs and synchronicities, surrendering to the energy that they are feeling inside. This can really hear with this image of the youth as compared to kind of the image of the king. This person could be just at kind of that beginning stage of surrender, of really admitting to themselves, trying to figure this out, finding the larger purpose of things, starting to get some courage to really no longer face the shadows within them that are triggered and that are demanding to be acknowledged and kind of worked beyond. Somebody who's no longer running from the intensity of the connection, but is starting to really face that, starting to really triumph over those shadows within themselves that could have really caused them to push things away, to act not in alignment with their soul and with the truth of their heart, but at quite the opposite of that again, kind of presenting almost with this idea almost of kind of trickery and deception. It really does feel that whatever was conveyed, whatever silence is conveyed, this is an illusion. It is a deception. It is not reflective of what is the truth of their heart. They're almost keeping currently, or as you may feel, that it's just a very kind of stoic perception. They're trying to just keep very closed off to admitting that truth. But deep inside, there's kind of this shift that is taking place to want to face these things, want to work through these things within themselves, instead of run from the connection, run toward the connection, to try to work with this energy, work with you in a constructive way, toward kind of building upon and capitalizing upon this energy between you. And we also have left leg, submission, Hod. So again, that energy of kind of surrendering to these feelings, with this kind of blue-green here. This is, the truth of the heart, the call of their heart, feelings they may have suppressed or denied before, or ways in which they may have kind of pushed you away, denied having feelings, or really cut off communication. There's a truth which is coming to them from the inside. It's causing them to step into that power. It's a truth that they are willing to acknowledge, or are starting to acknowledge at this point, that what might have been a very kind of overwhelming situation, a lot of things activated for them, triggered, wounds brought up from the past, as well as the potential of this very intense, otherworldly, and kind of next level love that could have been so outside of this person's comfort zone, but also really bringing up some wounds and fears as far as loss and love they may have experienced in the past. Somebody who may have had some kind of a major heartbreak and kind of vowed not to allow themselves to open their heart to love again, but then were really caught off guard by the feelings they had for you, and instead of leaning into that, could have leaned instead into that shadow, into that fear, and it was easier to just kind of push this away, or kind of put the wall up against it. But from the inside, from behind that fortress, there is change taking place. This divine intervention that this person can't stop at this point in time. That this is a very necessary stage in this person's journey. The two of you really having met for that reason of activating each other, kind of crumbling down the illusions, crumbling down a version of self, so that a new, more authentic version can be kind of birthed from those ashes. And we also have Angel of Rain, Matriel. So this can really talk about somebody who has shed a lot of tears about this connection. Somebody who is also really not only mourning the loss of the connection, but who may be going through some kind of an ego death currently, is really mourning the lost and kind of no longer present versions of themselves, other things in their life, other ways and, periods of loss, dreams that never came to fruition, dreams that were never really nurtured or given the encouragement to have the opportunity to grow and be realized. A lot of soul searching this person could be doing, a lot of inventory, a lot of recall of the past, of their childhood, and kind of where they are now in their life, sort of the things that occurred, the steps that they took to kind of reach this present moment. a lot of catharsis happening. And through those tears, as that heart chakra opens, it's tears of joy and gratitude, but also tears of profound sorrow at this time. And so this really feels that a lot of what you might be perceiving as kind of a closed and cold off, or a cold and closed off energy, this person not really giving to this connection, not responding to you. There's a lot going on with internally within them. They might be quite overwhelmed with what's coming up. A lot of psychic gifts that could be coming online, a deep sense of empathy that this person might have that they, might not know necessarily how to deal with. And so that's kind of when they feel overwhelmed. This almost feels like somebody who shuts down, who may process even a lot of those tears within them, who may need to kind of put on this sort of detached or compartmentalized approach to things, this very cold exterior that is really a mask for a lot of tumult happening within them, a lot of purging that is going on as well, kind of freeing themselves, moving away from their inauthenticity or kind of things that no longer resonate with them, any kind of untruth that they may have spoken where they denied feelings or pushed things away, kind of that sorrow as well of maybe making you feel kind of tricked or taken advantage of in the past, and starting to really recognize how much they value and cherish the love between you and how that was kind of taken for granted or misused in the past. And we also have Angel of Mysteries, Raziel. So this can really talk with this imagery here of this book and the Akashic records that this person is tapping into. Again, this divine intervention, heavy energy of awakening here in this for you group 3, some kind of transformational process that this person is really delving into, almost the mysteries of self as well, kind of recognizing patterns within themselves, self-sabotaging behavior, ways in which they, run from love or run from intimacy, kind of pushing away a good thing, pushing away wish fulfillment, and why that is, where that stems from. A deep process of transformation within this person. And so it really, it does tie in again with kind of this almost placid and cold exterior that they are trying so hard to maintain, with this kind of youthful energy with Galahad here. This feels that they don't feel very confident in kind of navigating this very intense change that's happening within them, and also having kind of the strength or the ability to not be clumsy with your heart, to not be clumsy with the situation. And so this feels like somebody who's almost staying at a distance rather than complicating matters further, not simply out of just this altruistic, motivation to kind of protect you and do its best. A lot of this feels self-protective, that they feel very much in this energy of overwhelm. A lot happening, a lot coming online for this person. With Angel of Mysteries, they may be starting to kind of come into contact with spiritual concepts. They may be kind of looking these things up, experiencing a lot of ascension symptoms. They may have gone through points in time where they were even questioning their own sanity, their own health, based on what they are experiencing physically, physiologically, psychically, psychologically, emotionally. Just a lot unraveling and kind of being birthed at the same time from this person. This is an energy of change, and this really indicates as well that, they're kind of how they behaved or how they were able to really identify and understand their feelings for you. That's starting to take on a new gravity. They're starting to understand this connection from a larger perspective, kind of the larger implications of things, and are stepping more into that energy of kind of gaining the courage and the ability to kind of master their fears and learn to sort of work with and flow with this energy, move toward you, move toward this connection, rather than try to push away almost this deluge of change that is coming, and this kind of ascension journey that through forces larger than them and outside of their control. There's no kind of stopping or prolonging this any longer. So this is somebody who's kind of in that process of metamorphosis and flux currently. So I'm going to get some tarot for you now, group 3, to get a little more clarification about this. Okay, so we have the Lovers. So this can definitely be confirmation of some kind of a twin flame connection, a soulmate connection even. This person having this desire to move back into closeness with you, really feeling the intensity of the bond between you, recognizing ways in which they may have kind of unfairly pushed this connection away in the past, sort of pushed away wish fulfillment, balancing almost the light and shadow aspects within themselves, the masculine and feminine polarities within themselves, learning to to trust their intuition and take action accordingly. And we've also got the Five of Pentacles, which is an energy of being out in the cold, but in this deck, it's the imagery of these two people embraced here. So this really speaks to this desire of this person to come in out of this kind of cold period, this very icy exterior that they may be presenting, kind of almost not feeling worthy of entering into that sanctuary of the connection. A lot of regret for how they may have kind of treated you or pushed you away in the past, now that this kind of clarity and understanding is coming. In this card as well, you know, this person with the bandages on them, and this speaks to this kind of wounding, these wounded parts of themselves that this person is learning to nurture, learning to self-soothe, kind of operating through that energy of the dark night of the soul in order to really be their own remedy to a lot of wounds that they may have kind of carried around subconsciously, that sort of manifested in distortions and an inability or unwillingness to open up to love. And we also have the Seven of Pentacles. So this is a card of divine timing and waiting, and can speak to this gestation period that this person is in. A lot happening beneath the surface and kind of out of their control. This person also feeling very kind of beholden to the divine at this point in time, in terms of it not being the right time to act or to move forward with any kind of communication, waiting to kind of find some answers. A lot of seeds that have been planted, a lot of work that has been put in at this point in time to really surrendering to this process, to this journey, to this unfolding and this awakening. But still in this liminal space where, you know, they're anticipating something different than what they have experienced. They're anticipating change on the other side of that. They put in the work. They've really started to kind of look at their shadows, to really do that work of integration within themselves. But they're kind of not yet at that place of, you know, kind of that youthful energy again, of not really having that courage, making the intentions, following that through with concrete action, but not feeling in that state of confidence to really have anything to offer you yet at this point in time. And we also have the Three of Pentacles. So this is the energy of work and rebuilding from the ground up, and ties in also with somebody who is going through kind of a spiritual awakening and ascension, somebody who's really had to kind of call into question everything about themselves down to the very foundation of their core, kind of someone who's rebuilding themselves from the ground up. And building in a direction that is more self-aware, that is more compassionate, that is more cognizant. Somebody who also has this desire to kind of move towards you and rebuild this connection, salvage this connection, build on a basis of a solid foundation of trust and truth, rather than deception and wounding that you might have experienced previously. And we've got the Three of Swords. So this can talk about, you know, this feeling of discontent for what took place between you in the past, that still lingers with this person. This is kind of motivating this desire to, you know, repair things with you in time when they feel prepared, or they've come to some kind of place of stability within themselves. But this can also, for me, really tie into a heart chakra activation. So that was coming through as well on this Hod card, with all that kind of blue green there, and somebody who's really listening to the call of their heart. Somebody who may be also dealing with a lot of kind of residue about heartbreaks from the past that have been lingering, that caused them to kind of push this connection away, fear vulnerability, and somebody who, you know, just really kind of wanted to keep that cup of love to themselves rather than give very much in the past. And we've also got the Six of Pentacles. So this is that desire to give back to this connection, to offer you some kind of truth, some kind of closure, all these kind of questions that you've been left with. This person desires to provide that answers, to create that sense of balance between the both of you. This is also somebody who's really working on that self-love journey, giving to themselves, giving themselves the time and space that they need to kind of recreate themselves. Somebody who is recognizing that, you know, consistency and time and action really go a long way toward, you know, building that kind of integrity of a relationship, of love. Somebody who is recognizing also the value and worth of having love in their life. Somebody who's recognizing the value and worth of this connection, this very unique bond between the both of you. And with all this Pentacles energy here, this does speak to somebody who, you know, has this desire to to provide some kind of concrete manifestation of the changes within them in the material world. But these are also all kind of cards of process and progress. And so it feels like something that they're still in this midst of almost kind of like this idea of a caterpillar becoming the butterfly, where they go into that chrysalis, into that cocoon, and they dissolve from their previous form. They kind of turn into this mush, into this goop, and then they must be kind of coagulated into this new form within themselves, to become that creature of the butterfly that is then able to emerge and go from sort of a terrestrial, earthbound being into something that has wings and is able to kind of traverse, the sky, this other domain that they were previously had no access to. It was unreachable. It was unattainable. And so this is also tying in with this person, transcending the boundaries of self, transcending what is possible, the heights they are able to reach in terms of vulnerability and understanding of both their place in this life and in the universe, and also what is possible in this connection. So still in kind of that mushy goop period within the chrysalis, within the cocoon. But this is somebody who's really kind of through that process is thinking to that day, that eventual time where they are able to then take a shape that is able to sustain flight in their life in other directions, and also is able to kind of create that change of uplifting the vibration and the experience between you from kind of that dissolution that you had previously left things at. So in terms of signs with the pentacles, we have earth energy, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. The lovers is Gemini, and the swords is air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self for you now, group 3. Okay, and they say, I will wait from a sign for you. So that really ties into this person becoming very cognizant about signs and synchronicities, kind of following along with their higher self guidance, also looking for some clues energetically from you, that it's the right time to act almost. That your heart would still be open to them, open to love. And I know for a lot of you, you're thinking, well, I keep sending them messages and they're not responding. This is something almost that, from the higher self and the soul level, this person is looking for some kind of an elevation in your vibration, some way in which you are choosing to kind of move beyond the circumstances of the past. When you are redirecting your focus to yourself, you're redirecting your focus, kind of releasing and letting go of that energy of expectation and waiting. It frees this person up energetically to then be that one to take the proactive approach, to be that one to deliver that apology that is owed, to be that one to take, like with that kind of masculine polarity of energy, that very action-oriented approach. That's part of this person's healing journey, is to be that one to come forth from that space of humility, to admit that they were operating out of distortion, to admit that they were not acting in accordance with the truth of their heart. Instead of just kind of responding to something with, yeah, you're right. No, yeah, I feel that way about you. This feels like somebody who needs to kind of construct that narrative, that dialogue on their own. They need to be the one to kind of make something of value within themselves, and also in terms of an offer in the material world that then needs to be kind of delivered to you. And so almost the sign that they could be waiting for is, again, you sort of detaching from expectations. Kind of the signs also that they are getting energetically is the process that you're going through to kind of heal and navigate, and kind of live with the reality of this connection, learning to trust your own intuition again, learning to trust in kind of the higher purpose of this journey and experience with this person beyond what you're able to really see and understand at this point in time. That all of that can really do a lot as far as helping this person to kind of get that courage to step into the next leg of their own journey. And we also have, I want to feel that way again. So this is somebody who definitely wants to kind of return to better times with you, somebody who's filled with a lot of regret with that Three of Swords about what happened in the past, ways in which they may have pushed you away out of being very overwhelmed, as opposed to kind of truly having no feelings for you, things that might have been said. It's a lot of shame that they're having to work through as well, a lot of feelings of regret, and, just somebody who is really trying to stick with this journey, this process of unfolding, in order to kind of reach that happier state within themselves. And they also say, we will be together again. So again, they have this focus on kind of better times between the both of you, on this cycle of endings, or being very closed off, or them, choosing to be very non-responsive. There's this desire within them, this push within them to kind of work beyond these fears, beyond these barriers within themselves, to move closer to that sanctuary of love that is being offered and has been offered in the past through this connection. And they also say, I couldn't let you get close to me. So this is really talking about somebody who had a lot of kind of issues with intimacy, somebody who kind of closed their heart space off, maybe after some kind of heartbreak that occurred in their past, vowing to never love again, or not let anyone get so close that they could hurt them again. And the connection really, but with you having caught this person off guard, really brought up a lot of those triggers, and they just kind of, out of almost a reaction, push this away, to try to mitigate the sting that was really brought to the surface. But it feels like something that, it uncapped this well of kind of pain and distortion within them, that was just sort of the first step on a larger journey of unfolding. In many ways, this person is probably going through something where, they're calling a lot of things into question in their life, sort of power dynamics, where they've given their power away to pain of the past even, and have allowed that to be almost like a puppet master in their life that has really pulled the strings and, kept them away from opportunities, kind of fear operating as that kind of block or that barrier to them. And they also say, I knew exactly what I was doing. So this person, definitely it feels like it was on some level very calculated, the way in which they may have cut things off or pushed you away or denied feelings. They almost feared really giving into that and the potential that could blossom from there, knowing that, once they gave in at a certain point, there was no going back. And so kind of doing what they needed to do, even some very kind of cruel or deceptive kind of energies of just kind of leaving you with the sense of being out in the cold, leaving you kind of questioning your own sanity or your own intuition, that, it doesn't make it right, but it was all that person could do in order to kind of push away this proximity to, a vulnerability again, to feelings again, feeling this intensity for you, but kind of these alarm bells within them ringing and saying that they couldn't get too close, they couldn't allow you in too close, because you might hurt them like somebody else in the past had done previously. And they also say, I know that I crossed the line with you. So any kind of energy of trickery that really made you call a lot of things into question for you. They know that they went to the extreme, and as far as kind of distancing themselves or pushing you away in this connection, that really, it's a hurt, it's a wound, that it's going to take a lot of work to fix that. It's going to take a lot of honesty to fix that. It's requiring courage on this person's part, to really move beyond just kind of leaving the energy where it is between the both of you, and to step into that place of integrity, to deliver that apology, to speak these truths, that realization, provide that clarity for you, that closure for you. They're realizing how unfair this is for you, to just kind of leave you with this burden, leave you with this sense of questioning. And so you might be getting signs about this person communicating with them in kind of a dream state or from their higher self, where they're sending you this very loving energy that could come at quite a contradiction to what they are demonstrating in the 3D sense. And this is really speaking about kind of that gap that is slowly closing between that higher self and the 3D self, kind of seeking that alignment of their thoughts, and the truth of their soul versus what is manifest in the 3D reality. Still a work in progress with you, and kind of one of these lamentations that they have, that they know it's something that has left them with a sense of dissatisfaction. It feels almost like it didn't feel very good at the time, and it's something where they may have just tried to present a very cold exterior, just tried to kind of ignore this nagging reality of having made this very kind of grievous and very hurtful error in terms of being careless with your heart, or being very cruel, or providing a lot of confusion to you unnecessarily. So I'm going to get one of these affirmation cards to get a little more clarity about this for you, a little more insight. Okay, and we have walk in faith, not in sight. So that ties in really well with kind of this gap between this person's higher self at the soul level and what they may be demonstrating to you currently in the 3D sense. This person's actions and their intentions are definitely not in alignment. There's a lot more than meets the surface in this situation, and so you're being guided to, part of the healing you need to do is to, try to heal that intuition, heal that space of trust within yourself, taking your power back from this situation, from this person, learning to, kind of trust in the larger plan for the two of you interacting, the kind of spiritual awakening, the ascension journey you may both find yourselves now in, to walk in this energy of faith, trust in the higher plan, trust that all will work out for everybody's highest good in the timing that it is meant to, learning to trust in that divine timing, trust that the obstacles or kind of the coldness or the quietness that you now face is actually a gift. It's an opportunity for you to do some work within yourself that might not have been possible otherwise in this connection. If you two had just, things had worked out initially, then, there would have been other things you would have had to work through, but not at this level of deep, intimate kind of soul growth and healing. And also for this person, this is a very necessary period of time. The actions that they took was very necessary for them to have something to reflect on, kind of a jumping off point, something to really strive to do better and to be better and to show up better in a more loving way in the future. So I'm going to get some guidance from Spirit for you now, group 3, about this situation. Okay, and we have forward motion. Get up off your perch and move your body to usher in new energy and create positive momentum. So that was really tying in with what was coming through with them saying they would wait for a sign from you. You're really being guided and encouraged as much as possible, and it's not always easy, and it can definitely be kind of a work in progress in and of itself. But to move beyond any energy of waiting for this person to realize your worth, waiting for this person to realize your value, waiting for this person to deliver some long overdue apology for you, to kind of recalibrate your focus, to invest in yourself, pour into your own cup, seek to take back your power from this situation. Take back the power that you have given to this person, to, affect your happiness and your peace of mind in such a profound way. Seek ways to cultivate joy in other areas of your life, create other opportunities, spending time around those who value, cherish, and love you for who you are. All of this can help to raise your vibration and help to, it's what you can do to help unstick the energy here. And, best case scenario, it helps this person as well. They're feeling that vibration rippling out. It helps them to make changes necessary to continue that journey, to step into their best self, so that they're able to, then offer you some kind of an apology, come from a place of humility and integrity, and, do the work to kind of heal the wrongs and the disparity between you. And the even better scenario, another kind of parallel and possible good scenario for you, is that by investing in yourself, the universe then brings you into alignment with somebody with a soul, with a resonant soul, who is able to see you and appreciate your value and worth, is able to give and receive to you. Recognizing your worthiness of love, and realizing that this is part of your birthright, that if you desire that in this lifetime, you can have it, but releasing the expectation of who that might be, the time frame that might come from, or what that might look like, the method of delivery. It kind of frees up your energy so you can move more into that state of receptivity, kind of disconnecting from that stagnancy, that stuck energy, any pain or confusion, learning to trust yourself again, learning to nurture yourself again, recognizing that this person was really operating from a place of distortion. Some wound had been triggered within them, and they took a very extreme and contradictory approach with you in the 3D than the truth of their heart and the truth of their soul. Even just that small nugget of knowing can provide a lot of closure. Taking that into yourself as a truth, and moving forward with your life without the expectation of this person ever returning with an apology. And a lot of you might be pleasantly surprised that in the future, at some point in time, perhaps even sooner than you may think, that this person really comes around, and the work that they've done within themselves, the transformation that is occurring within you, is also mirrored. It's also taking place within this person. The divine is working heavily with this person to kind of dislodge them from that sort of limited experience, that distortion that they've been operating in previously. And through continuing to focus on yourself, you can get to a vibration, you can get to a place within yourself where you would want this person to strive toward, where you would want this person to meet you at, so that you can experience a higher connection, a higher level of love together. And if this person chooses through their own free will not to, do that work, not to participate with that in this lifetime, the universe will send you somebody who can resonate with you, who can bring you a lot of love, who can bring you a lot of fulfillment to your life. But it starts with filling your own cup, with finding that fulfillment, finding that purpose, creating and cultivating that balance within yourself, so that you are geared toward and calling in and entertaining experiences, energies, and people who really serve your highest good and help to, challenge you to grow in the best ways, but also are providing you with kind of that upliftment and that encouragement of kind of the beautiful place in your journey you are at, all the hard work you've done so far, and are really advocates for where you are continuing to go. So I'm going to close this reading for you, group 3, with some initials. This can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got K, J, V, T, M, D, O, X, U, N, P, and Z. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.